the last thing we want to discuss. Obviously, if there's going to be any more callers coming in, you guys are more than welcome to call. People, stop texting me. I'm not going to answer your texts. If you want to call in, call in. I'm not going to be the messenger here. You can do it. You can do it yourself. Let's talk about Glendale's infamous. Multiple departments. We have building and safety. We have design review board. And we have the historic preservation.
Oh, I'm going to have to issue some clarification on a few of those things, but yeah, go ahead. I also really wanted to talk about your house specifically tonight. So,
geez.
So we'll save that for a different day. We'll do it a different day.
We'll turn the cameras off and we'll talk about my house. So you're specifically involved in obviously community development. Mm-hmm. How much influence do you have on building and safety as well?
That is part of community development.
So that's okay. And what about design review board?
So design review board is actually a separate authority, right? Those are council appoints members to that board who review projects. Depends on the type of application, depends on the level of review. HPC, historic preservation, same kind of setup. All of those fall within community development department. So if you're building, say, a brand new project, you get your zoning cleared through our planning division, you get your building permits cleared through building and safety. You may have to go through design review board. In some cases, HPC functions as a design review board as well.
So the big question is here, why?
Which part?
Why are there so many different departments when we're the only ones well, I don't want to say the only ones, but with surrounding cities around us, such as you have Pasadena, you have Burbank, even LA, they don't have any of this stuff. They don't have a design review board.
They do in some context, if I'm not mistaken.
Not a separate department.
Well, I'll say it's not necessarily a separate department. Let me explain that part. So planning and building and safety are actually a function of community development department.
Yes.
These boards and commissions work on kind of advisory capacity, if you will, to the city council. There are some cases where planning commission or HPC or design review board can make regulatory decisions, but not always. But that's usually a body that we have to pass additional things through. It's like, I understand why you think it's a different department. It's another one of those regulatory layers, if you will, in terms of getting a project through a process. And that is really a function of how the charter and how these reviews of projects are set up. Depending on the kind of project, you may have to go through several of those layers. We are actively working on changing some of those things. We actually made a change recently where any change to the rear 50% of your property and in the back does not go to DRB anymore. We used to have a lot more projects that would have to go. We've been trying to trim that down so it's getting to projects that are truly impactful to the public view or the right of way. So it's part of our process improvements, as we've been calling it.
But what's the purpose of having a design review board when this can all basically this can all be done internally with the city of Glendale's building and safety?
That's a great question. There are cities that do that. Actually, the city I used to work in Washington did that. Everything was done administratively by staff. And that may be a future conversation that we have as part of these process improvements. I know that there have been members of the community that would like to see that. The DRB was really set up, though, from the perspective of having that community input, right? They are representatives of the community appointed by the council. There are certain elements, I would say, that probably still need that public input, right? It is their community at the end of the day. We just need to figure out at what level. We have to calibrate that appropriately because we were sending just about anything in front of the DRB at one point.
I mean, everything was. Anything that you touched the front facade, it was going to DRB. A lot of people were cautious of even getting into construction because of dealing with design review board. So it's basically taking a project that can be finished in 6 months and prolonging it.
It's dragging out the process.
Yeah, it's becoming a 2-year project at that point, because anybody who does something outside of the scope of work, which till today nobody really knows what the freaking hell that means as far as outside of scope of work, but it's like, all right, I'm going to demo this, I'll replace it like for like. All of a sudden it gets flagged. And they go, well, now you got to go to DRB. Well, no, I'm replacing it like for like. Well, no, it doesn't matter. You already did it's all the damage is done already.
We are making changes on that one for sure. That is one that we are working on. We've had to hit pause on some of those regulation changes, largely because we have a lot of other major projects, as you may have heard of, going on. But we do have that as one of those in our long list of process improvement changes to get to, and that is the like for like. If you're doing that, we're taking out any of those functions, and typically you don't have to go anyways. But we're also looking at it in other capacities in terms of when those changes were done to try to make it easier for homeowners, right? That's our goal. I think for a long time, our two divisions of planning and building and safety, which we actually have rebranded and merged together as one, development services now, functioned as if they were the gatekeepers, right? They were the regulatory arm that was there to tell you no or find a reason to tell you no. And I don't think because they were bad or it was wrong. That's just how they were taught the job. It's how a lot of people in those jobs are taught. We have gone through some major changes in both of those divisions. And our philosophy at this point is get to yes. How can I help you get your project done? Maybe it's not exactly what you wanted, but we can get it to a point where it's part of your dream, your vision, your goal, and that we're much more of a customer service oriented team.
Yeah.
And that has really been our focus. We've seen our permit timelines come way down. We still have a ways to go. It's not perfect by any means.
Beyond the ways to go.
I do not argue with you there. But I will say that the team that we have, especially in those two groups, they work hard at this. They bust their asses at this, and they have done a great job. In fact, you'll see in our annual report coming out, I believe, next month, we'll reflect that. I know in some cases it's not always easy. It depends on the kind of project that you have. But our teams have been working really hard, and I know that we have a lot of other changes lined up. We just need to get back to it so that we can put our focus on it. Have
we thought about extending the times as far as past 12:30 with building and safety?
You're talking about the counter times?
Yes.
It is something that we have talked about or maybe shuffled around, and maybe we have one day where we don't even have a half day and we take those hours and spread them around others. We would have to get more staffing, to be honest with you, because having that counter, that takes somebody off of reviewing your project. Right now, we're trying to figure out how we can get more over-the-counter things so that people can get that done over-the-counter with us right there in person. Yeah. But every time I put somebody on that counter and we extend those hours, that they're taken away from the review of somebody else's project at the time. And we got to figure out how we balance this. We are investigating a lot of different tools that I'm hoping will help free up people's time to be able to work in those different capacities. But right now, it's a challenge because we are operating at a...
Have you guys thought about implementing some sort of AI?
I am currently looking into this. I had some interesting discussions just last week. It's timely that you asked that. That we do think that this could be very helpful and very beneficial to what we're doing. We just need to finish exploring it first.
Because if there's things that need to be reviewed by the human eye as far as understanding what needs to be done over the counter, maybe AI can come in there and focus on certain things where while I'm helping Joe over the counter, AI is doing whatever needs to be done. And then when I get back to it, it'll pinpoint certain things as far as that needs to be changed. This needs to be changed. That's okay. This is okay. And that's fine.
Help them focus, right? Focus on the things that are really important or maybe we're not done correctly, but you're exactly right. It's going to help free them up to be able to do other things as well. So hopefully more to come on that. You know, if you guys ever call me back up, maybe I'll swing back by and give you an update.
See, even AI put aside, I mean, what surprises me with Glendale, I haven't dealt with personally. I've dealt with some other cities, but for instance, just a basic even tracking system, right? I submit my project, and now it's in the planning department or building and safety, wherever it is. I have to call or email or personally come in to get an update, which takes up a lot of my time, a lot of your staff's time. Is there any system that's being worked on where I can just log into my project and real time see, okay, the planner has made a comment that this is the stage we're at. Here's what I need. Now they need me to go out there and get a soil study done or whatever I need to do.
Survey, whatever.
Yeah. Instead of me calling, emailing, waiting, wasting both of our times, it just seems very archaic, the systems that are in place, versus I should be able to just go in there, log in, I have my own PIN, whatever it is, based on the address, and I have real-time updates so that it's far more efficient. Do you guys have anything like that you're looking into implementing? Or
we do kind of have that now. We have an online permitting system we launched back in September of 2022. I would say it's not quite as nuanced as maybe what you're looking for in terms of that. This is exactly where it is. Here's the exact kind of feedback, because we still have to release our comments back at a certain point. So you don't, one of the council members is akin to having a Domino's pizza delivery tracker, right? So you know exactly which stage it's at. It's being prepared.
Dude, if FedEx, Uber Eats, and Domino's could do it, I'm sure the city of Glendale could do it.
And we can, and we have it. I just don't think it's quite at that level. But that's this was a system that we kind of had to get out of the box, if you will. So we're kind of going back every 90 days and we're tweaking and we're tailoring things. I know exactly what you're talking about. We were just discussing how do we get that so you have more information, because Arno's probably emailed me like 89 times in the past month, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't drop an address.
no address. Oh, don't talk about several addresses. But
I didn't say anything.
So I had to take a shot at you. But no, he could have gone on there and seen exactly where it was, right? And I think we have to tailor that system. We have to refine it a little bit better, so that you are getting that exact specific feedback.
Well, let me, you know what? I am going to bring this up. There were certain projects that we had where you weren't involved in it, but I had to get you involved, and you saw how freaking long it took for them to respond, to the point where it was like, I had to email you separately and say, Bradley, like, this is getting ridiculous. That 14-day turnaround turned into like freaking 21, 28 days, to the point where I had to get him involved, which I apologize to you several times. I say, I'm sorry I have to get you involved, but it's like, dude, staffing has to do something. People need to get off their ass. Do people not want to work? What's going on?
No, I think, look, our team is fantastic. I know that it's had a reputation, and any place you go to, you're going to find maybe staff that aren't performing at a level that some would expect. But we have had a lot of changes, not only just in cultural approach, but also in staffing in general, and the kind of people that we've been very intentional who we're hiring in terms of technical background, proficiency. There are going to always be instances where things may run longer for God knows what reason. I can never quite pinpoint the exact specific reason, but I actually encourage, in the case like when you're reaching out, to do that, because that helps me find those inefficiencies that maybe people just get used to working in, or maybe it was just a unique case. We had some issues plenty of times with people submitting the wrong stuff or whatever it may be, and those applicants, the designers may not be relaying that information back to their owner, right?
Those are such minute things that can be fixed, because
that can throw everything off.
Exactly.
Though, right?
So picture this: somebody submits something and it's incorrect, right? Which had happened to one of our projects. Somebody submitted something, it was incorrect. All they had to do is upload it, look at it, say, "This isn't what I wanted." They email you back right away. Call it days, 2 days, right? Hey, it's wrong. I need you to fix it. What happens is, well, there's a 14-day grace period for reviewing. 14 days passes by. Hey, listen, that stuff you submitted, it's all incorrect. So go back and
so we actually are approaching that.
So
we are dealing with that one now.
Okay.
So I would say, we had brought in a new building official, R.S. Sargisian, a couple of years ago. He's been great in helping with those kind of efficiencies and turnarounds and technical, really understanding kind of the nuts and bolts of a review process. And one of the things he did, he started what we call a gatekeeper, as much as I don't like using that term because I don't want us to be the guardians of the code.
Yeah.
But that person reviews your application right away, and within 24 hours, if it's incomplete, and you're not waiting the 14 days, right? Because we're allowed that window. The problem is we need that on the planning side of things. We just haven't had the staffing to do it.
Is it a budget issue, or is it literally higher? Like, people don't want to apply for the job?
I think for a long time it was actually really being able to keep staff. The turnover was pretty rapid, but that has changed. In fact, I've been here again since 2018, and this is the most staff we've had in this department. And it's great staff. I know that the perception can easily be that government employees can be lazy. They're sitting on their asses. I assure you that the team that we have built, especially across those two divisions, are not that. There's going to be gaps. Sometimes there's going to be inefficiencies. Something's going to break down in that process from time to time. But the team that we have now is really good, and we just continue to refine.
Did you enjoy that clip? Click over here to watch the full episode, and click over here to subscribe to the WiseNuts podcast YouTube channel.